Hey, hi. Let's explore various Excel cheat sheet commands. What does it mean by that? So, let's explore various Excel commands like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, or we will be exploring Scenario Manager, Goal Seek, Data Tables. We will be working on correlation, or we call Corel, and we explore your analytical toolkit in order to understand summary statistics and some sort of regression analysis. And apart from it, we are able to test how pivot table is working, and we can test how the power query is working. All this kind of different commands which are available in Excel, if you want to understand them, I think this is one of the very important video. You should not miss it. And why someone need to focus on Excel? Yes, I think if you are working on data, obviously one of the popular tool everyone uses is Excel. So irrespective of a job profile, if you are dealing with numbers, for sure you need to deal with Excel. Now, I'll be just walking you through a very simple command. Now, if I want to identify sum, so if I want to invoke any commands, so within Excel, you need to use equal to. So by using equal to, and if you are able to type any word, you're able to get various commands. So these commands can be called as DAX. So data analysis expressions, which are available within your Excel. Now, if you don't want to write a calculation, you can just remove them, or you can just simply click escape so that you are able to be out of your particular calculation. And if you want to zoom it a bit in order to make it more viewable, you are able to just click on this plus icon in the below. Now I want to identify the sum of sales. I want to identify the sum of sales the business made. For that reason, simply I'm writing equal to sum. Sorry, I made a mistake. Equal to sum. Hit on tab so that you are able to complete it. And you need to select the range. So I want to select all the values from top to bottom. So we are able to identify sum here. That's what we calculated. The very first one is we calculated sum. In the similar way, we got another one called as SUMIF. What exactly meant by SUMIF? Now we are able to go back to your Excel. Simply you can go to your home tab. You're able to select this particular subcategory. I don't want overall sales. So I would just want to have an overall sales of binders. So you're able to see binder. So binder. So binder. I want to identify the sum of sales of only binders subcategory. It's a kind of a product or a subcategory. Now what we do, we go back to your filters where I click on filter. I go with a filter and I try to click on this drop down and I try to select only binders and I try to calculate it. Or you can easily do with a command called as SUMIF. So instead of going with filters and all that, simply by using SUMIF, you are able to perform that operation. How? Now, very simple. You can just write SUMIF. I'm just giving the title and equal to SUMIF. I want to select the range. So now this is the range which I want to go with. And within the range, I want to calculate it for binders. And then I want to provide the sum range. You're able to see the pop-up. It is giving me as a help. So I can see I want to give the sum range now. I'm just giving the sum range. Close the braces and enter. Now for the binders, we are able to make a sale of 18 plus another binder 407 plus 2.5, another binder 22. So now based on this, we are able to get the value somewhere around 869. We are able to get it. So in this way, what exactly we are able to do? Now based on a particular category, we are able to perform SUMIF. In the similar way, we are able to do SUMIFs. So now what exactly meant by SUMIFs? So in SUMIF, you gave only one condition. Now based on a subcategory called as binder, you want to sum it. Now if you want to give multiple conditions, then we are able to go with SUMIFs. Now before we are writing SUMIFs, let's try to see. If you look at this particular data, now I can see the appliances, where the appliances you got 1, you got 2, and is there any? Yes, there are 2 appliances, and for this appliance, the sales are 114, and for this particular appliance, the sale are 68.81. Now I want to sum only for the profit making means whatever the things we sold it within appliances, only we want to take profit making things. So how exactly we are able to do it? Now I can simply type, let me stretch a bit. So I can simply type sum ifs. So I want some ifs and the sum range. First I want to give the sum range. Okay, I gave the sum range and I want to give the criteria range. So now this going to be my criteria range. And within this, I want to select the criteria called as appliances. And then I want to give the second criteria, which is profits. And within the profits, where the profit value need to be greater than 0, and click enter. Now it is able to give me the output. It is going with appliances. This condition is failed. Why? This profits are less than 0. Only this is like greater than 0. Only this particular value it is giving me as my sum. So 114. In this way, you are able to perform SUMIF operations. The same like SUMIF, we got another one. We are able to call it as average if. What exactly average command? So we all know. So from a statistical standpoint, if I want to know the average sales happening, so what are the average sales? If I want to understand, see, we can call it as average or mean. I can simply type average and I can select this data points and I can run. So like the average sales are 302. We are able to see that. Now, in the similar way, I want to understand average if. So what exactly this average if is? Based on a condition, I want to understand the average sales. So average if, I want to identify the average of the sales. For example, this is my, again, subcategory, or I will be going with average sales in state-wise. And especially, I want to know the average sales in California. And I want to understand the sales. Now, the average sales in California are 4,427. Now, within California, are there any negative? So, you got 2 Texas. So, is there any negative? Not really. Let me add a negative value for the sake of, or let me give, so within California, within California, we got values 85. Yeah, I will be going with average ifs. Average ifs. So average ifs and average range, I want to go with sales. And the criteria range is the state values. And within that, California. And another criteria, profits. And where the profits need to be greater than 50. I want to take, or I want to add the sales only for greater than 50 within California. And this is the average of sales, which we are able to make 1,300 in order to get average profits greater than 50. Now, in this way, we are able to use SUMIFs. We are able to use average if. And the same way, we got count if. So now we got count if. I want to give the range and then I want to give the criteria. Now I got California and I have selected state and how many times we sold our items within California state. So we overall sold our items in California for 7 times. Count if. In the similar way, you got count if ifs. So count ifs equal to count ifs. So criteria range 1. I want to give the criteria range. Let us go with California and California. And I want to give the criteria range. So within California, so I want to go with, let's say, so binders, phones. All right, let's go with phones. So within California, so I gave a condition. So I want to go with California. That is the first condition. So I'm taking state and within subcategory, checking both the conditions. So now the state need to be California and the subcategory need to be phone. So how many count we have it? 2 count we have it. So from California state, subcategory wise phones, we sold only 2 times. So like in this way, we are able to use this some ifs in the similar way, all this particular kind of operations. And then within our Excel, we got one more operation called as VLOOKUP. What exactly meant by this VLOOKUP is, for example, I want to identify the order ID. For example, here you can see I want to identify the order ID of this particular person, Hoffman. I want to, is there a guy called as Hoffman? Yes, here we go. There is a person called as Hoffman. And I want to understand his order ID, or there is a guy called as Andrew. Let me take this. I want to identify the order ID of Andrew. So in order to do that, I can simply say vertical lookup. So like what exactly VLOOKUP stand for? Vertical lookup. You are looking vertical direction. So we are calling VLOOKUP. Now I'm just writing VLOOKUP. Now lookup value, I want to look up for Andrew. And you need to give a table range where exactly the table I'm starting from customer name, and I want to look up only to order ID. If you are looking up only for order ID, you can go for it, or you can go with even product name up to, let's say, even what product he bought it. I want to go and what region he is. So I'm going with, again, our table array and the column index. So what exactly the column you want to look up for? So we selected customer name. Every time, remember, in a VLOOKUP, now your column position is this. If you want to look up for a value below, before this, for example, now customer name is here. If you want to look up for a value before this, like country, city, or category, you cannot do that in VLOOKUP. So from your customer name, you can look after. You can look after this position, so we are able to look for it. If you want to look before it, it may not be possible. If you want to do that, you can use XLOOKUP. But if you want to look after your customer name, then we can go with VLOOKUP. So now this is my column 1. So if I just take it, column 1, column 2, 3, 4. So now the position is the 4th column. So I'm just writing 4th column I want to look up for. And then it is asking, you want an approximate match or you want a true match? I want the exact match. So for that reason, I'm selecting false, close the braces and run. Now we are able to get his order ID. So Andrew Ellen, yes, and this is his order ID. We are able to identify. Now for Andrew Ellen, I want to understand what product he bought. So he bought Xerox. So now in order to get this, again, double click on the calculation you have written. Now this is your 4th column, 5th column, 6th column. So now instead of your 4th column, you need to give your 6th column and say run. You are able to get Xerox. So whatever the item, so he bought it, we are able to look up for that particular product. So we are calling it as VLOOKUP, vertical lookup. On the similar side, you have another operation. We are calling it as what? HLOOKUP, or we can say horizontal lookup. So now in order to understand for a horizontal lookup, I just created a small data in a horizontal way. Now when you have your month on your column wise and your sales. So now normally in your VLOOKUP, you got columns on your column side. For example, if you take, you got different columns like month, or you got sales, or you got a category. In this way, you got each column across column wise, but here columns are in row wise format. Now you got months on each row and sales on another row. Now I want to identify what are the sales in March month. If I want to identify what is the sales we made it in March month, I can simply write equal to HLOOKUP. I want to look horizontally. My goal is not to look up column wise, but my goal is to look up horizontally. So for that reason, what we are doing, I'm going with HLOOKUP operation. Now I'm just giving HLOOKUP. Lookup value, I need to look up for March. And what is a table array? This is my table array. And the row number, this is first, and this is my second. I gave row number second. And again, it need to be an approximate match or it need to be a true match. So like means true is approximate and false is exact match. Now I'm going with exact match, close the braces and run. We are able to get, so for March month, we are able to get a sale of 1500. So we call horizontal lookup. And on the another side, similar to your horizontal lookup and VLOOKUP, we got another operation, which we are calling it as XLOOKUP. Now see, this is an example of XLOOKUP, but I will be writing XLOOKUP somewhere on the top for easy readability. XLOOKUP. And in order to look up, I want to look up for example, let's take the order ID. And I want to look up for this order ID. Now order ID is here. So I'm just writing equal to XLOOKUP. And the lookup value, I want to look up for order ID, lookup range, return array range. So like lookup range, I need to look up for order ID. You're able to find this under this order ID, comma, return array. So now you're able to, I want to return what? I want to return the customer name. Now if you notice it, now this is the area I'm looking up for and I'm returning this particular value. I'm not like vertical lookup. From this, I cannot go to that side. So I can pick any side. Now I want to give customer name. I'm just giving that. And again, if not found, I can just say not found. And I want exact match. So that's not needed. Close it and run. So we are able to get the customer name. So based on this customer ID, we are able to get customer name. Now, the similar way, I'm just writing XLOOKUP. Now lookup value, I need to look up for this order ID. Lookup array, I want to look up for this order ID column. And I want to return the sales of this particular order ID. I'm going with sales. And if not found, you can just simply say not found. And I want to go with exact match and run. Now we are able to get the sales this person made. So with that particular order ID, what is the sales we made? So now by using XLOOKUP, you can go towards your left-hand side or your right-hand side. You can look up in a horizontal way. The combination of both vertical plus horizontal, we can say XLOOKUP. So give a try of this. This is also something important. And then we got index. So now what exactly this index operation is? I want to identify the index position of a person. So now if you are going with, I'm selecting the overall table and I'm just giving 3, 4. Just by giving 3, 4, just while I'm giving this, we are able to identify the exact, what exactly there in 3, 4, we are able to retrieve it. For that, we are able to use index operations. And then we got sort and unique operations. For example, I want to sort the data. So now, in order to sort the data, I'm pasting it here. So we will be sorting the table first. Now, in order to sort the table, I'm writing equal to sort. Now, I want to give an tape array. So I'm selecting the entire table, which I need to sort it, comma sort index. Now sort index, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I want to sort index position 7, and you want to sort in an ascending order or a descending order. I want to sort, yes, it is ascending order, and then comma sort by column wise. You want to sort column wise or you want to sort row wise. I want to sort, for example, row wise, and let's test column wise and let me run. Now, if you notice it, now initially the sales, if you look at this table, initially it started with 261 and 731, 40, 957, 22, 48. In this way, we got different types of values. Now, if you look at it, we are able to get the data sorted format sales wise. So you are able to get column wise sort. We made it. Now, again, let me double click on it. Now we have made false, which is again, I can buy row wise. Now I want to go with column wise, and let me again rerun it. Let me remove this and again sort. I want to sort this particular data and the sort index position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going with 7th one. I want to sort it, and I want to sort it in an ascending order, and I want to sort by column wise and run. So when you're sorting it column wise, now what happened? Now you're sorting it based on the values which are sorted column wise. So 0, discount came into the first position. After discount, the next highest value is quantity, second position. After quantity, the next highest value is profit, third position. And after that, you got sales and then state. In this way, we saw column wise sorting. No, I want to sort the values row wise. Then what you are doing? You are just writing, I'm removing this, and again equal to sort. Again, select this particular values, and I want to go with the 7th position, and let's say descending order, and I want to go with row wise. Yeah. Now we are able to get the sales in an descending order so that I'm able to get the top sales made by my customers. We are able to understand this with the help of sorting. Let's work on another one called as filter. Now, whatever the sort we created, let me remove this and let me go to sort and let me remove this filter. I want to select the array. Let's say this is the one. And I want to include, so for the filtering sake, I want to get region, and where this region need to be south, for example. Now, if you notice it, I'm able to get only South region related values. I'm able to get it. So these are South region, and where you got your sales as 261. Yes. And we got another South region where you got sales as this, and you got another South region 957, another South region so 22368, and another South region 15.552. Now, for example, like I want to know the number of sales made by. For example, why you want it. Now, let's say there is a guy called as Claire. Now, Claire made a sales, and I want to understand the sales only of the Claire. So, for example, what I can do, I can simply use filter. I can simply write filter, and I'm selecting the overall ship mode to this, and I want to select it from the customer. I'm selecting customer, and then equal to, you're giving the particular name. So Claire now I'm able to get what are the sales or what are the data we have it. I'm able to get only for that particular customer. So this is very important, I think, while you're doing analysis, or if you want to identify the kind of order placed by this particular person, even to identify it, I think a filter going to help us a lot. And then after filter, if I want to identify some product, what exactly meant by some product? Let me calculate some product here. So some product, I'm going with quantity, and I'm trying to go with sales and run. Now, what exactly this sum product is doing? In simple, it is trying to multiply quantity with the sales. It is multiplying quantity with the sales for all the values. Once it multiplied, it is summing all the values. That's what your sum product is trying to do. And similar to that, we got one more called as concatenate. Concatenate. So I'm selecting my, for example, I can select state, comma, and I'm writing buys, comma, bookcases, and if I run, now you're able to see, now the first one going to be your, what is that, state, and simply we have added some text, or you can simply, if there are two different columns, first name and last name, if you want to join them as full name, then you're able to use concatenate. And what else commands we have left? We have left command. Now let's take the name. Now let's place it, let's take order ID in an easy way. Let me remove. And I want to use left of the text, this one, comma, I want to select first four values. Now it is able to take only the first four characters from the order ID. We are able to do left operation. And similar to left, we got right operation. So to do right operation equal to right, I want to select this. And again, number of characters 5. So from the right side, 5 characters. So from the right side, 5 characters. Or I want only this unique number 427. So 6 characters. If I give that 6 characters, I'm able to get only the actual unique identifier of a customer. We can identify the right. And then we got mid. So equal to mid. I'm selecting the text, and I can give the start range. So I want to go with second element to 6th position. Now we are starting from the second position up to 6th value. We are trying to pick it. So in this way, we got left, right, and mid, and even we got unique values if I want to identify unique. In the similar way, you can give a try of unique. And another most important segment is correlation. What exactly meant by correlation, or where we use correlation is if I want to identify a relationship between two parameters. For example, as the profits are increasing, is the sales increasing? Or if the discounts are increasing, is there an increase in sales? So if I want to identify that, I can use correlation. So in order to check correlation, I can use a command correl, and I'm selecting discounts, comma, I'm selecting sales, and if I run it, now there is 46% of correlation. Means out of this available data, 46% of the data is showcasing linearity. Means like out of 100%, at least 46% of the data is showcasing a linearity. As the discounts are increasing, there is an increase in sales. Now if I want to understand correl discount And profits, as the discounts are increasing, how the profits are? As the discounts are increasing, the profits are reducing. So now there is 64% of the data is showcasing that as the discounts are increasing, your profits are reducing. Negative, going to explain about as one is increasing, another one is reducing. One is increasing, another one is reducing. We call it as your negative correlation. Positive correlation is as one is increasing, another one is also increasing. Positive correlation, or we call it as if X is directly proportional to Y, we call it as positive correlation. So now sales and discounts are having positive correlation. If X is inversely proportional to Y, we call it as negative correlation. That's what we are able to see here. And after this correlation, we got one more, which is called as our what if analysis. What exactly this what if analysis is? If you go back to your data tab, this is your data tab, and here you're able to see your what if analysis. Within what if analysis, you got scenario manager, you got goal seek, you got data tables. So what are all these examples? Let's start with goal seek. Now let me go and let me just change this as 5. Now let's take a very simple example. Now I'm selling Apple watches. So like each Apple watch cost is 45,000. And till now, we sold 5 Apple watches. So now overall revenue we made by selling Apple watches are 2,25,000. And the shipping cost is 7,500. And how we are calculating the shipping cost is, if I double click on it, you are able to see O13. This is my O13, or this O13 quantity multiplied by 1,500. So in order to ship each Apple watch, they're going to cost us 1,500 rupee. And manufacturer price. So how we are calculating manufacturer price? Again, this one O12, which is going to be the price of your item multiplied by 0.35. So in order to, for manufacturing each Apple overall pricing, from the overall pricing, 35% going to be my manufacturer pricing, and multiplied by, we are selling 5 quantities. So the overall manufacturing price is 78,000. And the total cost is 86,000. And the profits are nothing but your overall revenue minus your cost, going to give me your profits. Now I want to increase my profits to, for example, 8 lakh. So in order to increase my profits to 8 lakh, so how many quantity I need to sell it? So it's a very bit time consuming task, or it's a mathematical task where I need to sit, I need to compute all this, and I want to do it. Instead of doing all this, simply you can go back to your what if analysis. You can go to goal seek, and it is asking set the cell. So now what exactly the cell you are trying to go with? I want to go with my profits, and the profits, the value need to be changed to 8 lakh value. So I want to get a profits of 8 lakh. So in order to get a profit of 8 lakh, which is cell you want to change it to get a profit of 8 lakh. So the only way I can get it, not with manufacturing cost or not with the shipping cost, it's only because of the number of quantity we are trying to sell. So I'm going with by change cell, select the quantity and click. And if you are able to get it, so goal seek with the cell O19 found the solution, target and current value. Click OK. Now if you notice it, we are able to get a solution. Now by selling a quantity of 20 Apple watches, we are able to make a profits of 8 lakh rupee. And in order to sell 20 Apple watches, where your shipping cost going to be around 30,000 and where your manufacturing cost going to be around, again, the 78,000 is not getting updated. For example, if I double click on it, it is still at 5. So instead of going with giving it as a 5, I want to use quantity as a metric so that automatically it going to change. Now we are getting overall manufacturing cost of around 33 lakh 18,000. So we are getting manufacturing cost of 3 lakh 18,000, and the overall revenue we are making is 9 lakh. So it is around, it is around 9 lakh, and the profits we are getting is this. Now, this mathematical computation now changed. Now, what I'm doing, I'm just changing this back to 5. So we are able to get the same thing. Now, I'm again going to my what if analysis, goal seek, and I want to go with profits, and the total value of the profits need to be around 8 lakh. And by changing the cell quantity, click OK. Now see this, we got it. Now, in order to make a profits of 8 lakh, so in order to make a profits of 8 lakh, you need to sell close to 29 watches, and total revenue is like 12 lakh 97,000, and the shipping cost going to be 43,000, and your manufacturing cost going to be 4 lakh 54,000, and the overall cost going to be 4,97,000 and the profit's going to be 8 lakh. So in this way, we are able to use GoalSeek and each and everything, if there is a proper calculation, it's going to be easy to identify GoalSeek. And similar to GoalSeek, we have one more. We are calling it as data tables. So what exactly meant by these data tables are, let me try to work on, let me remove all this, all the values. Now this is your overall example. Now let me clear it and let me show you this. You're able to see this particular data and where the quantity, the product, I want to go with only 5 quantity. Now there is a product of price 957 and for a product of price 957, there is a quantity of 5. So we sold 5 items. So we are able to make an overall profit of 2,285. We are able to make a profit of 2,285. So what if the quantities are 10? What if the profits quantities we sold it are 50? What if the quantities we sold are 20? What if the quantities we sold are 25? So in order to calculate that, the easy way to do that is like you can simply go and you can create various scenarios and you can use a scenario manager and you can do it. Or you can use data tables and you are able to identify these values. So how you can do that? Now, how you got this value? Very simple, equal to, and I'm selecting this particular profit value which we got it. And the overall profits we got for the quantity of 5 is 2,285. We made it, and where the product price is 957. And now I want to identify for all this, just I'm selecting this data table, go to what if and select data table option. So row input cell and column input cell. And if you notice it, these values are in a column format or these are all in a column format. So I'm just going with the row column input cell and where I'm selecting this are nothing but quantities. Click OK. Now you are able to see for each quantity, for 10 quantity, this is the profits you can make. For 15 quantity, you are able to make 11,855, and for 20 quantity 16,000, for 25 quantity 21,000. So we are able to estimate for the future values or for the estimated values from this formula with the help of data tables option. We are able to use data tables and we are able to perform this particular option as well. Let's try to explore one more option which is called as scenario manager. What exactly scenario manager is doing? I have collected product price of 957C. So same like a data table, instead of creating a table, instead of going for this, I can simply use scenario manager. I can go to what if, scenario manager, and already there is a value 10. I can remove this and I can add a new scenario where exactly I'm giving, if the sales are, if the quantity we sold is 10, then what is my changing cell? So now the changing cell is quantity. By changing quantity, I'm able to get my profits. And I'm just selecting OK. And here enter the value. And it need to be, if I'm selling 15 quantity, I'm just trying to add it and I want to add another scenario, for example, 25 and changing cell same, I'm not changing it. So this also need to be 25 and click OK. Now I got 2 different scenarios. For the first scenario, I'm asking it to show. Now it is giving me, so this is, I gave it as 10. Let me edit. The value is, the name is 10, but the value we gave is 15. So let it make it same 15 and OK. Now when I ask it to show, you're able to see it is showing 15 and where exactly you're able to get your profits as 11,855. We discussed about scenario manager, GoalSeek and data tables. Now let's try to explore about pivot tables, another option. So I can just simply select the small portion of the data. I can go to my insert and you're able to see the option on the top called as pivot table. You can click on pivot table. So select a table or range. Yes, I selected this data points and you want to create in a new worksheet or an existing. I want to do it in a new worksheet. Let's create on a new worksheet. Here you go. You got pivot table and I can take a subcategory under my rows and I want to take sales under the values. So we are able to see your, if you notice it, I can see row wise, I can see my subcategories and I'm able to notice sum of sales. And based on this, if you want to get a graph, you can simply go to pivot chart option, which is on the top and you're able to get your pivot chart. In this way, we are able to use pivot tables. I'm not being deep into pivot tables. You can start using pivot tables as well in order to do mostly like Power BI kind of dashboards. We can create a bit using pivot tables, and you can create dashboards using pivot tables using this. And if you want to clean your data, you can go back to your data tab, which is on the top, and you can go to get data. If I just click on get data, it is able to ask me from where you want to import the data. I want to import the data from my local system. And let's say I want to import some data sets, some sales data, and let me say get data and say next. We are able to get some various tables, and I'm just trying to transform data. When you again at some Microsoft stuff, we are able to see a transform Power Query window where I can start cleaning this. Here you can see remove rows, or for example, I don't want the product names to be, I don't want duplicate values. I can just select this, remove duplicate column, remove duplicates. If I just click on remove duplicates, I'm able to remove them. Hey, I don't like to remove it. You can just click on this arrow, we are able to get it back. So this is another option. You can explore it within Power Query, which is there in your Power BI. The same option also, it is there inside your Excel as well. So apart from macros, these are the kind of areas. Even there are a lot of DAX commands, you can practice it. You can refer to Microsoft Excel documentation. You can start exploring those commands. I hope you got a clear understanding about how to use Excel and the various cheat sheet commands of Excel. I hope you got a clear idea. We discussed about VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. We discussed about your SUMIFs, COUNTIFs, average ifs. We looked into your what if analysis. We looked into all this kind of elements, correlation and all that. I hope you got a clear understanding about it. And in case if you like it, please share your views in the comment section. If you want more content on Excel, yes, if you can share it, I'm happy, and I can do a lot of content on top of Excel. Thank you so much, and see you in our next video.